Well, the year is wrapped up, and after I've done my top 10 worst movies of 2018, the Nerdy Awards nominations, now it's time for me to give you my top 10 best movies of 2018. Before I go on, don't forget to smash that like button, smash that share button, and if you're new here, smash that subscribe button so you can watch more reviews like this one, and give a little tap to the gray bell icon for notifications on my latest uploads. Back to the review. Now, before I go on with this list, it will most likely change as I'm such an indecisive little prick. If you want to see more updated versions of these kind of lists, check out my Letterboxd. It's in my description below, or, I'm just going to put the link right here. You go to my Letterboxd, I'm always changing up the lists, I'm always making new lists, and most likely this list is going to look a little bit different as time goes on. So like I said, this is just going to keep you more updated. There wouldn't be drastic changes, like number 10 wouldn't end up being number 1, and number 1 isn't going to end up being number 10. Nothing that drastic, but maybe like switching out a couple spots or whatnot. First, let's go to some honorable mentions. Incredibles 2, a Pixar sequel that we've been longing to see for way more than 10 years, and we finally got it, and I really loved it. Robin Williams, Come Inside My Mind. I was for sure this was going to be on my list, considering I love Robin Williams, and the documentary is told very well, but it ended up not being in the top 10, but I still highly recommend it. Annihilation. It killed me not to put it on this list. Annihilation is a really trippy science fiction horror movie that I didn't even know was a horror movie going into it. It has really good visuals and has really great themes of self-destruction while also showing a really seamless blend of the beautiful and the fearful. It's a great movie. It's pretty underrated. And my last honorable mention is another underrated movie in my opinion, and it kills me not to put it on this list, but Christopher Robin. Christopher Robin I loved more than most people. It was so great hearing Jim Cummings as the voice of Winnie the Pooh and Tigger again, and it was just nice just seeing all the characters back. The movie's plot is familiar, yeah, but what makes it not a problem is the way it executes it. It's still done very well, and better than most others in my opinion. By the way, I said back in August when this movie came out and when I did my review that Christopher Robin was probably going to get an Oscar nomination for Best Visual Effects, and no one listened to me. Now let's get to the top 10. Coming at number 10 is A Star Is Born. It's not as high up in my list as some of the other movies are, but however, I still really loved A Star Is Born. Bradley Cooper shows that he can actually direct a film really, really well. Lady Gaga shows me a performance I didn't know she could do, and yeah, the whole musician storyline is really done well, but however, what really sets home for me are the themes of addiction, because addiction has been a really bad part of my family, for a long time, and I feel like they really did get it right. Like, it's not something you can just quit. There are some people who say that they just quit on their own and it really worked out for them, and yeah, that's fine, but for most other people, addiction is a disease. It's not something you can just quit on your own for most people. Most people have to be guided, and I feel like A Star Is Born really hit that home. Coming in number 9 is a new film from one of my favorite directors, Alfonso Cuarón, with his movie, Roma. Roma is so expertly crafted. I mean, Jesus, like Alfonso Cuarón had to do the direction, the writing, the producing, the cinematography, the editing, and I don't know what else he could have done for this movie. And somehow, it still feels so organic and natural. The cinematography is absolutely gorgeous, but Cuarón really seems to know his way of filming a movie himself. This is a really great slice of life film, and if slice of life films are not your thing, this isn't gonna do it for you. For me, it all depends on the execution, and wow, Roma was really, really excellent in its execution. Coming in number 8 is a movie that I was really anticipating, but I didn't think it would be this good, and that's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's really funny, really crazy, the animation is just stunning, but yet it also has some of the best characterization we've ever seen in a Spider-Man movie. And it's weird because we have so many villains in this, and we have so many different spider people in it, and you have to flesh all of them out. And luckily, I feel like Spider-Verse does that really, really well, and opens the door for, hopefully, more Spider-Verse sequels in the future. Coming in number 7 is a movie that got critical and audience praise, but then during award season, it just completely vanished into thin air. And I don't know why, because Love, Simon is excellent on every level. I don't usually like young adult novel-based movies because they're usually just garbage, but Love, Simon actually has very likable characters, a very well done screenplay. I'm really impressed by the screenplay of this film. It's really funny, but yet it's also really heartfelt. It doesn't rely on stereotypes, it just tells a story that even if you're not gay, anyone can relate to, having a secret that you don't really want anybody else knowing. And I just feel like Love, Simon is just an excellent example of what you can do if you actually make a young adult movie good. Coming in number 6 is one of the most invigorating action films in the past few years, and that's Mission Impossible Fallout. Not since Mad Max Fury Road have I seen just a pure, action film, like not superheroes or heavy sci-fi, just pure action films. Mission Impossible blew my mind on every level. I don't know how those action sequences were choreographed. What are you supposed to do when you have a helicopter chase and it's not even CGI? And Tom Cruise, your main lead, is flying one of those helicopters. Good God. Fallout is just a rush of excitement, and the last act of the film really has you on edge. I was like, Jesus Christ, are they actually going to succeed in doing this? And I knew that they would because there were 2 other Mission Impossible movies. But somehow this movie still made me feel the intensity and the stakes. And plus it also helps that the writing is pretty funny and really intense when it needs to be. And Tom Cruise's character, Ethan Hunt, is just really likable, and you actually understand where he's coming from. I haven't seen any of the other Mission Impossible movies, but after seeing Fallout, I want to watch them. Coming at number 5 is hands down the best horror movie I've seen all year. And it's probably the scariest horror movie I've ever seen in my life, and that's Hereditary. Hereditary is boasted by incredible performances, including Alex Wolff, and the incredibly snubbed Toni Collette, who I think should have been nominated for Best Actress. But this film is so atmospheric. The scariest parts of the movie aren't even any of the supernatural stuff. It's things that could actually happen. It's family dilemmas. The way it's portrayed in Hereditary is terrifying. I don't get how audiences didn't click with this movie, because I thought it was genius on every single level. And if this is Ari Aster's directorial and writing debut, then I gotta see what he's gonna come up with next. Number 4 is a movie that I don't really get why it's getting a bit of hate from audiences in the past few weeks, but whatever. I think Green Book was fantastic. Green Book is really what a Hallmark original movie should be. It is wholesome, but it's not afraid to go into some, pretty important territory, and I feel like Green Book does that really well. The chemistry between Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali, who is one of the best actors working today, their chemistry is so natural. I love watching these two on screen, and it's just a movie that makes you smile at times. It's just so nice to watch. Again, yeah, it does get into some heavy territory, but overall, it is a really nice film to watch. I highly recommend it, especially considering it's a big surprise from one of the directors of Dumb and Dumber. Coming in at number 3 is a movie that really anybody should watch. Everybody has to watch this, and it's Won't You Be My Neighbor? I never really watched a lot of Mr. Rogers as a kid, because I didn't appreciate him enough or whatever. I don't know why I didn't watch him enough, but I really feel like I should have. Fred Rogers was the epitome of what a human being should be. Hell, he was a Republican and a Christian, and he still was a very nice guy. And even then, Mr. Rogers seems to learn a lesson or two about equality and kindness and whatnot when it comes to this one guy named Francois Clemens. You'll see what I'm talking about, because he tells a story about revealing who he is. And that element felt so human towards Mr. Rogers. And I really do feel like even Rogers learned a lesson during that experience. And yeah, it just sucks that we don't have Mr. Rogers around anymore. Because in the climate that we're in now, where everybody is, like, attacking one another, whether it's politics, or fucking Ghostbusters, or Star Wars, or Marvel, DC, many people these days have lost what it means to be kind. And I feel like this film shows that. It shows what we lost ever since Mr. Rogers passed away. And I feel like everybody needs to see this movie. Everybody. It's one of those movies that makes you want to change as a person. Well, after talking about the wholesomeness of Mr. Rogers and his lessons of kindness, number 2 is Avengers Infinity War.
Hell yeah!
I know, flawless segue. But whatever, Avengers Infinity War was a blast from start to finish. I wasn't exactly sure if this could hold a candle to the Russo brothers' previous films, because really, the Russo brothers, for some reason, they always make the best Marvel movie. Like, when they did Captain America the Winter Soldier, that became my favorite Marvel movie. Then when they did Civil War, then that became my favorite Marvel movie. And now I think Infinity War has become my favorite Marvel movie, and I can't even begin to comprehend how Endgame could be better than Infinity War. But regardless, Infinity War was such a really epic superhero film. Like, they managed to balance all these characters so flawlessly by making Thanos the main character. Making Thanos the lead in this film was the best thing you could have done, because you've already set up all of the superheroes, and considering there's so many of them, giving the villain the spotlight and we follow his journey, I feel like was just a perfect way to handle this film. And of course it helps that Josh Brolin's performance of Thanos was incredible, the writing for Thanos was incredible, and the special effects that brought Thanos to life are some of the best I've ever seen in a motion capture character. Avengers Infinity War was an epic if I ever saw one. It is just huge. It is one of the largest movies I've ever seen in my life. And again, I don't know how Endgame is gonna top this. Here's hoping it does, but I'm gonna try not to get my expectations too high. And so my favorite movie of 2018, what's it gonna be? It's a movie that is really funny, touches on some really heavy issues, and the ending just haunts me to this day, and that is BlacKkKlansman. BlacKkKlansman is such a fantastic movie. Spike Lee's direction was as sharp as a knife. The dialogue was even sharper than that. But what really surprises me about BlacKkKlansman is that how it takes this story of, you know, the Ku Klux Klan, who are basically the shit stains of America, and manages to make this story really funny, while also making sure the important dramatic parts are important and dramatic. And like I said, the ending to BlacKkKlansman, even as a white guy, horrifies me. I mean, if you have not seen BlacKkKlansman, good God, watch it. Please watch BlacKkKlansman. So, what are your top 10 favorite movies of 2018? Let me know down in the comments below what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like, share the video so we can get the channel circulated. Don't forget to support my Patreon on my Patreon page, or if you can't do that, then consider supporting me through my PayPal donation button in the description below. And if you want to see more, click this.